Ovaj razgovor vodimo neposredno nakon Berlinskog samita Evropske unije i zemalja regiona. Zanima me koje ste utiske poneli iz Berlina?
First of all, I might say that what I was expecting was not more than what we got, in the sense that we went there, and it was very important that both the Chancellor and the President of France organized it together, because it shows special attention and also a certain renewed will to deal with the region, to address issues of regional cooperation, and also to focus on one of the most important and tricky issues of nowadays, the dialogue between Kosovo and Serbia. So somehow maybe other people expected the summit to solve all the problems. I didn't. And in the same time, it was, in my view, very fruitful, because it created a new momentum. And the pledge to have, as the President of France put it, a return match on the 1st of July in Paris is very important.
To će biti sastanak u nešto užem obimu, ali mene zanima, nakon ovoga što ste rekli da ste dobili tačno ono što ste očekivali, zanima me zapravo taj vaš odnos prema gospodinu Ramušu Haradinaju, koji je bio vidljiv i tamo, i naročito nakon vašeg povratka u domovinu. Dakle, vi ste otvoreno rekli da je gospodin Haradinaj lagao u Berlinu u vezi sa taksama, zato što je on se zapravo žalio kako je bio pod velikim pritiskom i kancelarke Merkel i predsjednika Makrona, ali i gospodina Tačija i vas naročito, da se takse suspenduju. Onda ste vi otvoreno rekli da je on lagao, da takvih pritisaka nije bilo u Berlinu.
Now, I somehow felt strange, but at the same time okay, because I was labeled from both sides like doing something wrong. I was labeled from my friend Ramush and also from the others in Belgrade. So it means to me I was in the right place, because as a matter of fact, no one, and nor the Chancellor, either the President, and not at all myself, was advocating about getting rid of the tax, but simply suspending it to give.
That's what I said.
To give a chance to a new, let's say, chapter of the dialogue, where they both, the Chancellor and the President, pledged to participate directly, and Germany and France to be involved much more than in the past.
Ali gospođa Maja Kocijančić, portparol gospođe Mogherini, je rekla da Brisel odbija učešće kancelarke Merkel i predsjednika Makrona i da će Brisel to sam obaviti.
I didn't hear this, but...
It was yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't hear this, but I don't think it's important in this moment we are talking about the summit, because what was, to me, very important in this Berlin summit was exactly what I said, a renewed will from both Germany and France, through the President and Chancellor, to get more involved in a process that somehow has been blocked for a certain time. So this was a great opportunity, and the fact that there isn't a space that has been created is a good thing.
Vratit ćemo se na pitanje Kosova i Metohije nešto kasnije, ali sada bih voljela da ostanemo u Berlinu i da se pozabavimo pitanjem Evropske unije, jer evo nas na 20 dana pred izbore za formiranje nove administracije u Briselu. Šta očekujete od tih izbora? Kako vidite Evropu nakon 26. maja?
About the EU, I have, since some time now, the sense that it will get worse before it will get better. So,
Why?
there is a period in the EU that it's not exactly what we would wish, and what the pro-European people and forces would wish. But at the same time, we can't change it. We have to live with it. Unfortunately, the decisions about us in the EU depend less and less from what we do and more from what their problems are in the moment they take a decision. But on the other hand, it's understandable that EU need to reform, that EU cannot go on like this. And what's happening is, in my view, the expression of many frustrations and of many, let's say, fragilities that has been more and more visible to the people, not because the project of the European Union is wrong, but because the project is not completed. So I think we live in a phase of crisis within the European Union that will define somehow the future. And I am, in that regard, optimistic that things will get better, but before will get worse.
Zanima me nešto na što ni ne morate odgovoriti ako ne želite. Šta očekujete od Evropske unije ako, recimo, vaš sadašnji holandski kolega bude izabran za predsjednika Evropske komisije, gospodin Mark Rutte?
No, I can answer. Mark Rutte is a great guy. It's an amazing talent of politics. It's not by coincidence that he's there since quite a long time as prime minister. He's a very navigated politician, and also he is European.
Why I'm hearing a little but?
No, I didn't say but. Now, whoever will be in the head of the European Union in the next 4 years will have to deal with this particular difficult moment of the European Union. And I would very much like Mark to be there because, as I said, he's an amazing politician. And he's European, by no doubt.
Da li ste očekivali nakon Brexita da će veliku evropsku trojku da čine upravo Francuska, Nemačka naravno i Holandija, umesto, recimo, Nemačke, Francuske i Italije?
Who knows? The thing about the European Union today is that you don't know what will happen tomorrow. And they apparently don't know themselves. So I very much hope that the sense of history will prevail, because I strongly believe that getting out of the European Union is somehow getting out of history, and abandoning this project is somehow going very much backwards.
You're talking about United Kingdom right now.
No, I'm talking about all the forces within the European Union that are supporting the idea of getting out, that are supporting the idea of closing the doors, that are supporting the idea of abandoning the project. The project is so visionary and is so amazing, and I think it's together with the United States project is the most amazing project human beings have imagined for themselves in terms of politics. So the question is, how long will take to see it accomplished in one way or the other, and how much we'll have to suffer and to live with the frustration of this transition between what the European Union achieved but at the same time couldn't achieve, and what the European Union should achieve in the future.
Jedino logično pitanje nakon ove priče o Evropi je kako vidite region u budućnosti?
my vision about the region has always been, or let's say since a long time, been the same, and it doesn't change. The region should move by itself and for itself in parallel. So we should not wait the day to become, when we'll become members, to create a better environment for ourselves and for our people within the region. There are so many things we could have done and we could do together to create in this region a different type of space for everyone and to live in this region like we are supposed to live in the European Union, without borders, for example. To adopt, without waiting years, our own model of borders based on the Schengen model, to move freely, to not have 1,100 years of waiting time every year in our borders. This is an official statistics from someone that looked to it in the World Bank, and to make sure that trade and cooperation and investments and culture and everything is connected. So we can do it. And we should not wait for the moment that we'll be members of the European Union. And we should work in parallel. So if Europe, the Union, need to reform itself, we need to reform ourselves. And there are some good things that we have started. Unfortunately, we didn't succeed to go faster, and we are seeing that we are time after time finding ourselves in front of obstacles, and we are realizing that the obstacles, it's again ourselves.
Dali ste mi divan uvod za sledeće pitanje. Govorite o otvorenim granicama i o transportu roba, ljudi, kulture, svega toga što ste naveli. A kako se u tu priču uklapaju ove takse koje su privremene vlasti na Kosovu i Metohiji uvele prema robi iz uže Srbije i da ne budemo nepravedni prema robi iz Bosne i Hercegovine?
Let's face it, the tax that has been adopted by the Kosovo government is not a trade measure. It's a political scream. It's a political scream to make everyone here...
It's a political scream from 19th century, not 21st.
No, I would say no, because it's from 99 that Kosovo is free, is independent, and recognized by the major powers of the democratic world as such. And in the same time, Kosovo has embarked in a process of dialogue which is very painful for them because, again, let's face it, Albanians in Kosovo were victims of something that was nearly genocidal and were victims of an ethnic cleansing under a dictatorship in Belgrade. So, again, they embarked in this process. They engaged to find out a way through dialogue. They didn't really put conditions for that. They didn't, for example, condition that with an apology or with whatever else the victims can rightly expect. And it didn't work well for them. It didn't work well for them, to say the least. So we need to find a way out, and we need to take our lessons from this deadlock, because we should not take for granted that what we had cannot come back. And we should fight for the future, because we cannot inherit to our new young generations the conflict that was inherited to us from the past generations. It's a kind of, we are in the crossroads. And I'm not among them who naively believe in the European Union that conflict is over. and either among them that think that we can solve things through conflict. I believe that this need to be addressed as a frozen conflict that has to disappear. So the tax is a political scream I have supported to make sure that things go further. And that's why I advocated the same as the French president, as the German chancellor, that the suspension is something that could be done exactly because a chance was there. And then, of course, the tax could go back if nothing would have happened. So I think it's not easy to understand from the Serbian side, but I can easily understand that this is something for which the Serbian side should not try and find the reason just in the other, but also try and find some reasons within itself.
Ja ću naravno uzeti u obzir to da ste vi pre svega veliki umetnik i dobar sportista i političar naravno, ali pojmovi genocid i ostalo se ne upotrebljavaju tako lako. A postavit ću vam jedno drugo pitanje. Šta se dogodilo sa Edi Ramom koji je postojao na evropskoj sceni do Sofijskog samita prošle godine? Ako se ne varam, vi me ispravite. I sa Edi Ramom koji danas govori. Do Sofijskog samita vi ste vrlo čvrsto se držali evropskog puta Albanije i govorili o tome da će svi biti jedinstveni u Ujedinjenoj Evropi. Od Sofijskog samita na ovamo vi se sve više služite veliko-albanskom terminologijom. Je li to iz političkih razloga ili prosto tako osjećate?
Yeah, I know very few Serbian words, and among them I know what is veliki.
Velika.
I'm not velika in anything, just in my height, and then the rest need to be let's say reassessed. But no, I don't think I am a different person. I am the same person. I have strongly advocated for new era in the Albanian-Serbian relation. I've always thought, and I still believe, that Serbs and Albanians can do for the Balkans what French and Germans did for Europe. I strongly believe that we owe to our next generations exactly that, the creation of the foundation of an everlasting peace and the definite end of the conflict. I've never spoke about Greater Albania, and by the way, thank you for asking. Greater Albania is a notion that has been created, promoted, commented, and used against the Albanians by them who were on the other side of the war trenches in the history. So there is no Greater Albania in any, let's say, Albanian romanticism or even, Renaissance or before and after. There is a clear, imagination that we are brothers that live in two different states today, and we should unite. For sure, we should unite. Now, I've always seen this unification as part of our path towards the European Union. And if there is one thing that is greater, is a greater European Union, in my imagination and in my conviction. So, all this being said, I reiterate everything I've said about Albania and Serbia, Albanians and Serbs, but at the same time, I have said and I continue to say that that Serbia need to face reality and need to recognize reality that Kosovo is an independent, free state. And of course, the need to settle is unavoidable. And more Serbia continue to live in this kind of dream that this has not happened or this will be prevented to happen, more will be painful for everyone. So this is what I've always thought.
Ja priznajem da je to mišljenje ogromne većine Albanaca, ali ako je to zaista tako, zašto se onda traži od Srbije bilo kakvo priznanje ili to je prosto činjenica i koga briga za mišljenje Srbije. Ali ja moram da vas podsjetim na jednu vašu izjavu još 18. aprila 2015. u intervjuu za Sky News. Ponovo ste govorili o ujedinjenju Albanije i samoproglašenog Kosova, citiram. Rekao sam da je ujedinjenje za nas nešto neizbežno i neupitno i dogodit će se na putu ka Evropi, kako ja smatram. Međutim, kasnije, pogotovo posle Sofijskog samita, iznali ste dve opcije ujedinjenja. Prva je ta, ujedinjenje u okviru Evropske unije, a druga je integracija sa Kosovom na kojoj će dve zemlje biti prinuđene na klasičan način ako Evropa zatvori svoja vrata.
Yeah, I can understand this.
Nice to hear that.
I can understand this because I have had to deal many times with this question. And again, I can repeat it. But there is one thing that should be corrected in the interpretation that I wanted to say, and I want to say that if there is no future for our people, for our countries, but not only for Albanians, in the European Union, in a family of countries where peace is the foundation, of course, people may go backwards and find what at that time I called the classical way, but it's not my way. It was not my wish. It's not what I predicate. It's not what I would do. But I would simply say that this is fact, that the risk is always there. So let me say it to you in a different way. What Jean-Claude Juncker from Luxembourg wanted to say when he said, for the Balkans, or there is the European Union, or there is war. Meaning?
I don't know, maybe we should ask him.
No, I can answer you. Meaning, in my view, or there is a path we construct together for a better future, where we find together united for bigger purposes and in a space of freedom and cooperation, or we'll go backwards. And what has produced the wars in the Balkans? The same thing, fighting for eliminating the other. So my grandmother used to say that there is no happy house with unhappy neighbors. So we should work really seriously and with a vision to avoid what in the past has burned our houses, trying to burn the other's house.
Ono što me interesuje je, pošto čujem negde u pozadini, ispod radara zapravo, neku vrstu ljutnje na Evropsku uniju, verovatno zbog toga što još uvek nisu otvoreni pregovori za pristup ni vama, ni Severnoj Makedoniji, iako se to očekivalo jako brzo. Da li je zapravo ovaj nov vaš stav prema ujedinjenju sa Kosovom i Metohijom, odnosno neka vrsta odustajanja od onog čvrstog evropskog puta, zapravo proizvod te ljutnje koju osjećate prema tome što još uvek nisu započeli ti pregovori sa Albanijom?
No, but you insist in a new position of mine. I have no new position. I have always thought, and I still
I
think...
was only listening.
I still think
to your speech.
that yes, we need to unify in the path of the European Union, and we need to make our borders irrelevant, and we need to have chances to organize in a totally different way, and to live for this prosperity and for the common good. But not only between us Albanians, between everyone. So I don't have a new position. What I have tried to say, and what I repeated today, is that we should not forget that the frozen conflict can be defreezed and can bring us back to nightmares, as can be eliminated and push us forward to a much better future. So it's not anger. I'm not angry
Disappointed.
I'm not angry, but not disappointed, because I understand that this is not about us. This is not because of us. This is about them. This is about the European Union being in a very difficult period. So at the end of the day, I strongly believe that what we do, and not only us, but every country that is embarked in this process, it's not because some people in Brussels are asking us to do, or because in Berlin or in Paris they want us to be good guys and we want to show that we are good guys. No, we do it for our kids. Justice reform. It means to have a better justice system. It means to have a better country tomorrow. Fighting all the bad things and creating new functioning institutions. It's about us. It's about our states. It's about modernizing our countries. So it's a process that is unique in itself to help countries move forward, and especially countries like ours, which frankly have no great tradition of institutions and of mechanisms that work by itself. So there is no anger. Simply, we have to live with this Balkan curse. I would say that when they were in very good shape, we were in a very bad shape. Now that we are in a better shape, they are in a bad shape. So we need the moment that will be good on both sides, and we will be together. So for the time being, we want to open the negotiations, not because we want a gift or because we want an indulgence, but because we deserve it. And at the end of the day, what they are giving to us, it doesn't cost anything to them in terms of finance. It simply helps us to continue the cure of modernization, to continue and build the institutions and give the final form to a state that can be ready to become part of the Union.
Nadam se da vam neće smetati da vas na trenutak iz ove evropske priče vratim ovde gde se trenutno nalazimo, u Tiranu. Zašto se u poslednje vreme u albanskim medijima, ali i u medijima u regionu, sve više spominje ime Ljuljzima Baša kao nekog ko može da vas zameni na mestu na kome ste sada?
Well, you have to ask the media. As for me, I have a rule. I never speak about my friends in opposition in a foreign language. So you would apologize me, but I don't comment on our opposition with foreign journalists, because I think that this is something we have to deal here with each other first. Second, because I know that with all due respect, foreign journalists, foreign media cannot go in depth about what we have here, cannot fully understand what happens. And
we don't have the full knowledge of it.
Natural,
yes.
Natural. And of course, you know, I know also for a fact that when you protest and when you threat to spill some blood, all the media is interested. When you do things that can be great for the country, it's not news of interest for international media. So I don't comment. I think we are a growing democracy, not yet a mature one. We have, and not only here. Look at Serbia. look at Montenegro, look elsewhere. So we need to learn in the hard way, as always in the Balkans, the rules and the norms of living together in democracy, where someone has to win, someone has to lose, someone has to govern, someone has to be in opposition, someone has to lead, someone has to follow.
Ako sam vas dobro razumela, ako nisam, reći ćete mi, vi smatrate da je ova pozicija trenutno nešto autohtono albansko, dakle bez ikakvog pomoći sa strane nekog iz Albanije ili sa strane nekog iz neke druge zemlje, ni u finansijskom, ni u organizacionom smislu?
I don't comment on my opposition especially, but I would say that, for example, we have today in the Balkans oppositions that are in boycott. Boycott is not something that Germans or French or Dutch or other
To je ono što
democracies...
su oni najavili za 30. jun, kada su zakazani lokalni izbori.
No, I'm talking about boycott in the parliament. I'm talking
in
about
parliament,
So
yes.
this is something that has become a tradition in our countries, which shows that we are young and not yet mature democracies. Now there is something new here, that there is also the so-called burning of mandates, which is new, never happened in the Balkans. I hope it will not spread in the other countries, because it's really very self-inflicting and suicidal in my view. And yes, boycotting the local elections is not the first time. We have seen it in other countries in the region. And it has always shown to be self-inflicting and somehow suicidal politically for them who engage in this kind of abandoning of the elections. But this is part of a precise period of history. And listen, 30 years are a lot on ourselves. 30 years before, when we were in the streets. We were in the streets to fight communism. I had all my hairs, but 30 years in history are a fraction. So.
Zanima me još nešto oko vašeg odnosa prema Kosovu i Metohiji. Vi ste uspostavili na svečanoj sednici parlamenta u Prištini prošle godine, vi ste doneli nekoliko deklaracija i zajedničkih odluka koje se tiču, bogami, i spoljne politike, a i bezbednosnih nekih mera. Koliko je to, i najavili naravno ono što se dogodilo u januaru, to je ukidanje izvesnih graničnih procedura sa susednim zemljama, pre svega sa Srbijom na teritoriji Kosova i Metohije. Koliko se to uklapa u dobrosusedske odnose?
You give me more weight and more importance than I have, frankly. What I said during the celebration of the 10th anniversary in Parliament, it was simply that I tried to imagine where we would be 10 years later, by starting from where we were 10 years before. And frankly, 10 years before, we were somewhere that 20 years before, that no one would believe. No one would believe that one day Kosovo would have its own parliament, its own government. It would be... So from this assumption, I tried to just share my imagination. And we have to wait 10 years. It's not long. But it was not nor a provocation, either a project. It was just an imagination. And there is one thing that I said that nobody wanted to take when commented. I said that the conflict with Serbia will be over. We'll be living shoulder to shoulder, or something like this, hand to hand, like very good neighbors. So this is a presumptive phrase that followed my imagination that we might have a common foreign policy and one president. So this was what I said based on how much history surprised us starting from 20 years before. So nothing guilty, just a very genuine imagination about a region where everyone would have his place and no one will be looking what Edi Rama said, what Edi Rama think, what Edi Rama is imagining about this greater whatever. No, I don't think it would disturb the Serbs at that time if we would have a common foreign policy. I don't think so. They would be in their own fantastic path towards a great future like everyone.
Mediji u Srbiji, ali i šire, su već objavili saopštenje partije gospodina Aljbina Kurtija o tome da će tražiti od Albanije, od vas, da proglasite za persone non grata predsjednika Vučića i predsjednika predsjedništva Bosne i Hercegovine, gospodina Milorada Dodika, i da ih ne primite sada na samitu Brdo Brioni 9. znači kroz par dana ovde u Tirani. Kakav je vaš stav prema tome?
It's a free country. Everyone has the right to protest and to advocate everything that might think that is right. But of course, this summit organized by the president has as guests the president of Serbia, the president of Bosnia and Herzegovina. They are welcomed, and we have a paragraph in our first constitution, if I may call it, our canon. The house of the Albanian is of the God and of the guest. So it's a free country. I'm very happy we are like this. I heard, and you will say politics again, that someone cooking bread in Belgrade was expelled because he made the sign of this.
No,
And
he
this is
wasn't
our
expelled.
this is
He's
our
still working.
this is our symbol, which doesn't mean anything bad for the others. It's just our symbol that to recognize each other. I heard that was expelled, and because I saw this colleague of yours making the same.
Little bakery still in Belgrade, and nothing is happening.
Good. So I'm happy to hear that. But yes, it's not a problem. We are, for example,
So
in
you're
another
telling me if I come
neighbor
here
country
and show like this, nothing will happen to me.
to you.
Yes.
No way. If something would happen to you, I would run and would protect you. No.
I would like to see
This
that.
country respects of course, there are also, things that maybe one would not like to happen, but as far as Albanians are concerned, everyone that lands here is welcomed and protected. It's our history.
That would be
And this is not politics, this is
Yes,
truth.
I know. Čula sam takođe da imate izvesnih problema zbog svojih viđenja sa predsjednikom Srbije Aleksandrom Vučićem i sa relativno pristojnim odnosima koje imate sa njim. Je li to tačno?
Oh yes, I am a traitor for someone or for some people because I have a normal relation with him and because I have called him a friend sometimes, but I have nothing to do. These people cannot be cured. So I think that there is one thing very precious to me, but also very clear in our relation, that we have agreed to disagree on what we disagree, but to discuss in very open and in a very friendly manner and to live with our disagreements.
Kada ćete privatno doći u Beograd, u jedinu pravu metropolu ovde na Balkanu, da je još bolje upoznate i da se negde dobro provedete?
No, first of all, I can tell you that I don't know much about Belgrade, but I've seen it twice.
You should learn more.
Once, or more than twice, but in two different times, let's say. Once when I was an artist, long time ago, and once when I came to visit the then Prime Minister and the actual President, and it has changed a lot. It has changed a lot. Tirana has changed a lot. So there is no jealousy here, and there is no real competition in terms of.
Yeah,
I don't see with anything else but with admiration and with pleasure everything good happening around and everything good neighbors are building. So you don't provoke me with the only metropolis of the Balkans, and I can tell you that I know, but just I'm answering in totally good heart. So you don't provoke me with that. And on the contrary, I would be very much happy to come anytime. And I very much hope that soon we'll be finally in another place altogether, and we'll have left behind this burden of history after Serbia would have recognized fully Kosovo through a peace deal that is needed and of which I am a big supporter. And of course, the kids, both from Albanian families and from Serbian families, do not deserve to continue and have this burden while their friends in Europe are running. So we need to help the kids run, not just stay stuck in something that has to do with many mistakes and many bloodshed of the past.
Jednom političaru, uvek političar. Ja sam zaista pokušala da vam postavim jedno pitanje sa ljudskim likom, ali vi ste i to uspeli da pretvorite u politiku, no nema veze. Evo poslednjeg...
I know. Unfortunately, you are right.
I poslednje pitanje, neću vas više gnjaviti, je sve više Srba zaista dolazi u Albaniju. Šta biste im preporučili gde da odu, šta da vide?
I remember when we organized the very first visit of these kids, Serbian kids coming to Albania, and it happened to be during this crazy return match of the game between Serbia and Albania. Football match, yes. And the great thing was that these kids were so amazed that everything was similar but the language. So I know that people that come from here feel at home in the sense of everything feels familiar, and the same for people from here going there. So that's why I want a region with no borders. That's why I want no border with Kosovo, no border with Montenegro, no border with Macedonia, no border with Serbia. We should work for it. We should make it happen. Others will do it in the future, but if we'll do it, the pride will be with us. If we'll not do it, the shame will be ours.
Politics again.
Yeah, politics at the end, politics at the beginning, politics all the time, unfortunately.
Hvala vam najlepše na izdvojenom vremenu i na ovom razgovoru. Nadam se da ćemo ga ponoviti